Welcome to episode 4 of the Uncomfortable Podcast. I'm your host, Jake Allen, and today we're going to be diving into the 3 main ways that comfort is killing your dreams. So in every decision we make, we have a choice between the comfortable and the uncomfortable. And we make these little decisions tens, if not hundreds of times a day without even realizing it. And so today, essentially what we're going to be diving into is how to know the difference between what you're choosing and to make sure you're choosing the right decision. Because if we're always taking that road of comfort, if we're always taking the easier way through life, we're not gonna live a fulfilled life. We're not gonna live an extraordinary life. If you're making the ordinary choices, you're not gonna live an extraordinary life. It's just not possible. So without further ado, let's dive into number 1, which is going to be that comfort kills resistance. Now, before we even dive into the comfort side of that, let's talk about resistance as a whole and why resistance matters. What resistance is, or sorry, not resistance, resilience, and essentially what that is. And so resilience is your ability to keep going when it gets hard. It's your ability to keep going when life starts to suck and when things get tough. That's essentially what, in a nutshell, what resilience is and what resilience looks like. So why does resilience matter? What's the point of resilience? Think about a Navy SEAL training. If you know anything about Navy SEALs and the process they go through training, there's a reason very few actually make it through. Personally, I don't think it's something I could do. I have the utmost respect for these people, for these warriors that truly put it all on the line. But essentially what these SEALs go through is, aside from just their basic training and just all the training they go through, when they reach sort of the end of their training, they go through what's called Hell Week. And Hell Week is what it sounds like. It's a week of just pure hell. And many don't make it through this. Many quit before they actually get to the end of Hell Week because it's that bad. But why do they do this, right? What's the point of putting these soldiers, these warriors, through this week of hell? It's not just 1 week. Don't get me wrong, that SEAL training is tough. Why do these soldiers have to go through that? What's the point? Why don't we just train them the basic, technical skills, the things they need to know, and then send them on their way? Because war is hell. Because when they get out there on that battlefield and it starts to get tough and there's bullets flying, they've got to be able to stay strong mentally and physically and emotionally. That's what resilience is. Resilience is the ability to stay strong, to keep fighting, and to keep pushing when it's the hardest. And this is why we need resilience, because life's going to get hard. Life's going to suck. Life's going to get really, really tough. We're seeing a lot of major historical events happening right now in our world. There's a lot of hard times all around our world right now. And we got to be able to be resilient in order to get through that. If we're never building that resilience and we're sitting there relying on comfort and we're just sitting there and our lazy boys just watching TV and eating chips, metaphorically or physically speaking, then we're not going to have that resilience. We're not going to be able to stand up when things get hard. And that's not just for big major life events. Everyone has their own personal life and their own personal struggles. Your life's going to get hard. If you're a business owner, your business is going to struggle. If you're working 9 to 5, if you're in the corporate world, whatever the case, you're going to have really hard days. You're only going to make them harder if you don't have that resilience to get you through that and to push you through that. Another example would be working out. And this is actually a really great way to build resistance. Obviously, I'm not going to ask you to go put yourself through Hell Week, but working out and building the discipline to work out and to make this part of your routine and to grow and strengthen yourself, that will create both physical resilience, but also mental and emotional resilience in you. It's not easy to go work out every day. And it doesn't have to be every day, granted. It can be, there's different splits you can do. Whatever, that's a tangent. But essentially, sticking to this discipline of working out consistently, of getting, whether it's in the gym, whether it's at your home, whether it's maybe out at a park, wherever it is, that doesn't matter. The point is that you're taking that time, setting that time aside, and pushing yourself. When you push yourself physically, you'll push yourself mentally. That will build resilience. That will make you both physically stronger and mentally stronger. You look at people who consistently work out, people who have been consistently working out for quite some time. You look at people who have been putting all this work in. And honestly, I think I've seen this maybe even more so in people who have a major transformation, but I think it goes both ways, where you see these people that are doing this consistently. They're some of the most resilient people out there. There's a reason why these Navy SEALs and these, just our military in general, that's why that they go through this hell that they go through in training. That's why they get screamed at and spat on, because that builds resilience. Is it fun? No, it sucks. It's not gonna be fun. I'm sorry. That's the harsh truth. But the flip side of it is, you can never build resilience, and you can sit in comfort, and you can sit in what feels nice and what's, makes you happy in the short term, which we're going to talk about that in a minute. You can sit in that, but you're never going to really experience life. You're never really going to feel the fullness of life. And it's your decision. It's up to you. But if you choose that route, when your life gets hard, when things happen, when your business starts to go under, when you get fired unexpectedly, when you have a loved one pass away, when money gets tight, you're not gonna know how to handle it. You're not gonna know what to do, because you haven't taken the time and the energy and the effort to prepare yourself, to strengthen yourself, to build up that resilience within you. So there's a lot of little ways you can work to build resistance. There's a lot of little ways little things you can do in your day-to-day. Obviously, like I said, working out is a great one. Something I do personally, I did this for a long time, and then I kind of stopped for a while, but I've been back on it again, is fasting. I'm actually going to do a full episode on this in the future. I'd really love to have an expert talk on this. So if you know anybody, hit me up. But anyways, fasting doesn't mean starving yourself. Fasting doesn't mean, and this doesn't mean you have to do it for days. I personally don't. I do what's called intermittent fasting, and I fast for, it's usually between 14 to 16 hours every day, and then I just eat during that 8-hour window. This has numerous health benefits, and it's also just really helps your energy levels, keeps you, I don't know, personally, like, it just makes me feel really good. But it's hard. It really sucks. And I work part-time at a coffee shop, and the mornings that I work there and I'm fasting and I'm having to serve people food and serve people coffee drinks and all this stuff that sounds so good, I'm having to sit there and push through that. Now, obviously, I know this is like major first world problems. It's not really that bad, but you try it and then tell me how it makes you feel. So, point is, something like fasting requires resilience. It's hard to wait until noon or so to eat every single day. And it's not that hard, obviously. Anyone can do it, but it takes that mental resilience to not go, grab some food and eat some food and just say, you know what, this doesn't even matter anyways. It's building that resilience little by little every day. It's just like you're not going to go do one workout and get jacked. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it's not going to happen. It's you work out consistently every day, and that builds that resilience. Same thing with fasting. You push yourself that little bit each and every day, and then that builds, and it builds on itself. And then eventually you find yourself that much more resilient because you took the step to do that every single day. And so that's another way. Of course, there's so many ways you can do it, whatever it is that really makes you uncomfortable, whatever ways you can push yourself. I like ways personally that have to do, here's the thing about resilience. Not only is it when you're doing these things that build the resilience in you, not only are you just building that resilience, but you're also doing things that like improve your well-being, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, whatever the case. Like when you're working out, you're building that mental resilience, but you're also doing something good for your body. When I'm fasting, I'm doing something that's good for building my resilience, but it's actually also good for me, both my mental and my physical health. Another example of building resilience would maybe be if you're trying to push out of the uncomfortable or push into the uncomfortable, and just maybe going and paying for the person behind you in the drive-thru, or maybe you're going to just go tell someone you appreciate them. Whatever little ways that's going to push you into the uncomfortable, that's going to build resilience. There's no set path here. There's no set plan. The things that make you uncomfortable and the things that push you into the uncomfortable and cause you to get uncomfortable, that's going to build resilience. When you're stepping into the uncomfortable and when you're pushing yourself, that builds resilience in you, which makes you stronger. So that way, and it makes the uncomfortable more comfortable. You hear people say, there's a saying that's like, we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's essentially what it's about, is it becomes more familiar to you, and it becomes less of this like hell to you and more of just like something that comes naturally. It's something you want to do. Like I personally like want to push myself. I want to fast because I know that through doing that, it builds that resilience, and it just, in the end, it just stacks upon itself, and it just it makes me feel better. It improves my life. So why wouldn't I want to do it? But anyways, enough on resilience. Moving on to number 2, comfort kills ambition. This is a big one because this is where a lot of the mindset comes into it. This is where a lot of the mentality really just comes to play here. Comfort's easier, right? So why not just take it? Like, why not? Like, sitting on your couch all day, watching Netflix, eating Cheetos, whatever you like, I don't care, and just just like hanging out is a whole lot easier than getting up off your butt, going outside, running a mile, or whatever it is that makes you uncomfortable. The comfort's always the easier path. But when do you feel more fulfillment in your life? Do you feel more fulfilled when if you, the days that like you just sit around and do nothing? Now, granted, quick note on that. Rest is good. I believe in rest. I believe in taking that time to rest. Be intentional with your rest. That's a big key to that topic there, is like you need to be intentional with your rest. You don't just rest aimlessly. That's sort of what I'm talking about here. It's just binge watching, laying around, just choosing to do nothing. But anyways, I really lost my train of thought there, but just bring it back. Point is, the days that you do that, the days that you choose that path instead, never feel as good as the days that you push yourself, the days that you go get uncomfortable, the days that you really push your limits, and that you're, like we just talked about, building that resiliency. The days that you're diving into the uncomfortable, and like when you get off your butt and you go for the run versus just sitting around and binge watching and binge eating and binge scrolling and binge whatever, you feel way better when you go move your body, or when you go do things that are good for you, or when you go get uncomfortable, when you make that decision to push yourself and to get a little bit uncomfortable, you're always going to feel way better than when you choose the comfort and the safety net. And this goes for anything in life. When we choose that safety net, when we choose that comfort, when we choose the easy path, when we choose to not get uncomfortable, we're not going to find fulfillment in life. We're going to just be stuck. We're going to just be mediocre. And this is going to just lead to us not really, it's going to kill our ambition. I mean, it really will. Like, think about it. If you get up and run, and I'm just using running as an example, but whatever it actually may be. But if you were to get up and go for a run, that's going to inspire you to do other things. You're not going to go for the run and just be like, well, all right, that was good. Knock that out. Let's go sit on the couch and do nothing. Like, no, that's going to inspire you to keep doing more. There's actually, a big common misconception is that everyone thinks they need to like wait on inspiration and start taking action, when in reality, action is actually what leads to inspiration. You act, and then that inspires you to keep doing more. And people fail to realize that for whatever reason. But anyways, I digress. So running will inspire you to do more. Getting off your butt and going and getting uncomfortable will inspire you to do more and achieve more. But if you're just sitting on the couch, binging and whatever, that's not going to inspire you at all. That's not going to, if you're sitting on the couch just watching TV, that's not going to inspire you to do anything other than just watch more TV. I mean, how many of us have ever been sitting there? I'm just as guilty as this. So like, I'm not on some high horse here or anything, but how many of us are guilty of literally just being like, well, one more episode. Oh, you know what? One more. Why not? Yeah, one more. You're never going to watch a TV episode and then be like, unless you're watching like that Michael Jordan documentary, like that was good, bro. But generally speaking, you're not going to be just sitting there watching TV and then just be like, you know what? I feel like going for a run. That really inspired me. No, look, comfort kills your ambition. You have to get up off your butt. You have to go put the work in. You have to have a willingness to go get uncomfortable and go push your limits, build your resiliency, and that's where your ambition will come from. You go hit a good workout, you feel pumped up, you feel ready to go. You got that ambition. You go, I don't know, sit on the couch all day. That's my best example, I guess. But you sit on the couch all day, and that's not going to inspire you to actually do anything or to take action on anything. Comfort kills your ambition. If you're not getting uncomfortable, if you're not pushing yourself, if you're not testing your limits, if you're just sitting in what feels nice, if you're just chasing that dopamine, if you're just sitting in the small pleasures of life, you're never going to taste the real full pleasures, the real pleasure of life. You're never going to taste it because your ambition's dead. Your ambition, you can't have ambition if you're sitting in comfort and if you're sitting in what always feels good, and if you're never willing to step out there and get uncomfortable. But anyways, that's that one. Moving on. Third and final point, comfort kills your happiness. And this is one of the biggest, I think this is honestly maybe the most important out of all of these, because if you don't have happiness, really those other things don't matter. But essentially, diving into that, to dissect that a little bit, comfort brings you, kind of like I was just talking about actually, comfort brings you short-term happiness. Comfort is like dopamine. It is dopamine. It brings you that, it feels good in the moment. It brings you that sense of rush, that sense of reward, that sense of pleasure. But it's gone like that, dude. And then you're left feeling so empty. And you're left just feeling nothing. And I think it's so sad that like this is the path that so many take. And People just don't even realize it. I mean, how many times have you gone and got like I don't know, say you go get a milkshake. Personally, milk doesn't agree super well with your boy. So if I go get a milkshake, it's going to be awesome for those 5 minutes I'm drinking that milkshake. Honestly, even that anticipation leading up to the milkshake, oh, that milkshake's going to be good. Yes, sir. I get the milkshake. 5 minutes later, bro, stomach ache for days. All right, so the point is, what I'm saying is like, it sounds good in the moment. It tastes good, feels good, seems good, but it's not good. And it's gone like that. And that goes for something small. Like, and I'm not saying don't ever get a milkshake and don't ever, enjoy the, things like that in life. No point to living if you don't. But what I'm saying is you got to understand that, like, this is how comfort works in all aspects of our lives. And this is how comfort destroys us. It really is. We say, now look, I have nothing against a 9-to-5 if you like the corporate world, if you like that. I know there's a lot of people that speak out against it and are like, you should just go be an entrepreneur. I don't feel that at all. However, for the people that are in the corporate world and stuck in that 9-to-5 world that don't want to be there, that don't belong there, for the people who were like myself, who are in college, sitting in their dorm room, depressed, angry, frustrated, overwhelmed, wondering, why am I here? This isn't where I belong. This isn't where I want to be. This isn't the path I want to be on. For those of you, if you just keep picking comfort, if you pick the safety net, if you stay with what's comfortable, you don't take the risk, you don't put yourself out there, you don't go for it, and you just stay with what's comfortable, you're never going to experience the fullness of life. You're never going to experience your happiest self. You're never going to experience your best self. And I cannot stress this enough. I cannot beg this enough of you. Don't let that happen. Don't let that be your life. Please do not end up on your deathbed like so many do, regretting your life. You will never, ever, ever find yourself on your deathbed regretting getting uncomfortable and pushing yourself. There is, however, the possibility you'll find yourself on your deathbed going, man, I wish I had just done that. I wish I had just started that business. I wish I had just traveled the world. I wish I had just done X, Y, Z, whatever it is. That's a very real possibility. That's what most people's reality is. Don't let that be you. I'm begging you. Please, please don't let that be you. Don't settle. Don't give up. Don't settle for comfort. Don't settle for less than what you deserve. And you deserve, man, so much better than that. You deserve so much better than that. Please don't settle. When you stick in this life of comfort, and when you stick in this life of mediocrity, and you don't push yourself out there, and you're not willing to dive into the uncomfortable, you're sacrificing your happiness. You're sacrificing your long-term happiness, your long-term fulfillment in life, your joy, you're sacrificing more than that, though. You're sacrificing the impact that you're able to have. And I'm not saying all of us need to change the world, and I'm not saying that you have to have some extraordinary mission like that. I don't care what you do. That's not the point. The point is we each have a calling. It's in us. We have these passions for a reason. We were given these passions for a reason. We gotta chase them. You can't settle. You don't know when your life's gonna end. Stop putting it off. Just go for it. Just do it. Fail. Fall on your face. Look stupid. Suck. Dare to suck. Be terrible. Be the worst there is. And then learn from it, get better, grow, keep going, fill yourself to the fullest extent of your calling, and just keep pushing yourself forward. And then encourage someone else to do the same. And that is how we make an impact on this world. That is how we push other people to get uncomfortable. That is how we change the world. I mean, that's how I'm so passionate about this, because this is so much deeper than just some little motivational pep talk. This is real stuff, man. This is happiness. If you're not willing to get uncomfortable, and if you're not willing to put yourself out there, and if you're not willing to build resilience, and if you're not willing to get up off that metaphorical or physical couch and go just run at the uncomfortable, run at fear, punch it in the frickin' face, dude, flip it into fuel and keep going. If you're not willing to do any of that, and you'd rather sit in comfort, and you'd rather just survive through life and get through each day, and it's fun, then that's your choice. No one's gonna make you. But on that note, no one's coming to save you. And I think a lot of people need to hear that. No one is coming to save you. You got to take responsibility of yourself. You got to take responsibility for your actions and for your thoughts and for your happiness. And by doing so, push yourself into the uncomfortable. Take the leap. Stop being afraid. I'm so passionate about this because I know what it feels like to be in the wrong place and not know how to get out of it. And I know what it feels like to feel so alone in this. And I know what it feels like to want something better, want something greater, and not know how to get there. And this is me telling you this is how you get there. There's no crystal clear path. I can't give you a roadmap. I can't give you specific directions. That's for you to figure out. Okay? That's between you and God on that one. But what I can do is I can tell you that it's not found in the comfort. It's not found in the easy path. It's not found in the most traveled path. It's found in the path that you blaze. It's found in pushing yourself and getting uncomfortable and chasing what scares you and flipping your fear into fuel and building resilience and chasing ambition and supporting your happiness. That is where fulfillment is found. And if you need help in any way with any of this, anything that was talked about today, if you have any questions about it, if you disagree with any of it, if whatever the case may be, if you just want to chat, please reach out. My email is jake@intotheuncomfortable.com, or you can hit me up in the DMs at intotheuncomfortable, and I'd love to chat with you. But anyways, I think that pretty much concludes this episode of the Uncomfortable Podcast. I think we'll end there. I got way more passionate and into that than I thought it was going to. But man, I feel good. I feel fired up. I'm so happy to be doing this. This podcast has been so much fun for me to start. It's been such a fun journey so far. And I could not be more grateful to you all for joining me, for being a part of this, for riding with me. You all mean the world to me. All your messages, everything I've been hearing from you, feedback has been awesome. Always welcome more. Please share with me. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give us a subscribe, turn on that little bell notification, drop a like, and leave a comment with your biggest takeaway from this. And hey, bonus points if you drop in there how you plan to dive into the uncomfortable this week. Got some exciting things coming up on the podcast, got some guests coming here in the near future that I'm so stoked for. That's what this whole thing has been about from the beginning. It's helping other people tell their stories. So you get to hear from more than just me soon. So that's something to be excited about. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or one of the other streaming services, if you could leave us a rating and review, that would be incredible. That would mean the world and help us reach more people. So anyways, all of that to say, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, keep on diving. Got this. What's up, guys? Jake here again. Just wanted to thank you real quick for listening to this episode of the Uncomfortable Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I ask that you would please go leave us a rating or review wherever you're listening to this. Really helps us out, really helps us tell more people about the uncomfortable and to help more people live fulfilled lives. So if you could go take 2 seconds to go do that, that would mean the world. Now go take one actionable step towards your dreams today and to apply what you heard here on this episode. You got this. I'm rooting for you as always. And once again, thank you so much for listening to the Uncomfortable Podcast.
Take yourself out your comfort zone. If you want to be ordinary, you ain't even got to listen to me.
Comfort is overrated. We've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.